Good afternoon, Algebra 1. I'm going to review the definition of absolute value and the examples we went over in class, as well as one more extra example that wasn't shown in class. So again, remember that the definition of absolute value is distance away from the origin. When I have 3 lines there like I just drew, that's not an accident. That means definition, or defined as distance away from the origin. Remember, that means that it is always positive. What that means is if you ever see something that looks absolute value of x equals a negative number of any kind, I'm going to put what you guys call a hashtag, it's a number sign for me, a negative number of any kind, this means there is no solution because the absolute value of a number can never be negative. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so here are our examples. Example 1. The absolute value of x equals 4. Now here, all we need to do is undo those absolute value signs. And remember, the way we undo absolute value signs is by adding a positive or negative sign to the other side. So when I undo the absolute value, I get x here, and it equals a positive or negative 4. So this sign right here that I'm going to highlight is your positive or negative. That is what undoes your absolute values, which are right here. Okay? Here we go, example number 2. 4 times the absolute value of x plus 2 equals 24. Here, you want to isolate that absolute value before you dig into it. And because the math that's being done here is your multiplication, our first step is to divide by 4 on both sides. You get x plus 2 equals 6. Oops. Absolute value of x plus 2 equals 6. Don't get ahead of ourselves, huh? Now we have to undo that absolute value. When you undo it, you have x plus 2 equals a positive or negative 6. Remember, here, this is our signal that we are going to have to solve 2 equations with that giant or in the middle. So that means x plus 2 equals a positive 6, or x plus 2 equals a negative 6. Well, you guys already know to subtract 2 from both sides, and we get x equals 4, or x equals a negative 8. So you would write your answer as x equals 4 or negative 8. And then in order to check your problem, you would plug one in at a time to make sure that they both still worked. Okay, here comes example number 3. Example number 3 says the absolute value of x plus 3 plus 4 equals 4. Now here again, we need to isolate that absolute value by removing or peeling off what's outside of it. And so what's outside of it here is a plus 4. And to undo that, then we subtract 4. So we're left with the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 0. Remember, to undo absolute value, it's x plus 3 equals a positive or negative 0. Well, but wait, Mrs. Dyer, 0 can't be either positive or negative. It just is. Well, you're absolutely right. We don't need that positive or negative sign on the 0 because 0 just is what it is, which means we now only have one equation to solve, and that's totally fine. All you do is minus 3 on both sides, and your only solution is going to be x equals a negative 3. You're good to go. All right, last example. This is the example that wasn't done in class. We get 5 equals the absolute value of x plus 2 plus 8. So remember here, we got to get that one that's far away or outside of the absolute value peeled off first. So we undo the addition with subtraction of the 8 on both sides. 5 minus 8 is a negative 3 equals the absolute value of x plus 2. Well, now think about this here, guys. Remember at the beginning, I told you absolute values can only be positive. So can you ever have an absolute value that equals a negative number? You can't. There is nothing we could put in for x that when the absolute value was taken, it would be a negative number. So therefore, as soon as you see something like this where the absolute value equals a negative number, your answer now becomes no solution. All right, you guys are doing great for me. I am so proud of you. As a reminder, if you haven't seen on Canvas, your homework was page 52, numbers 14 to 28 even. That's to help you practice some of that stuff from the homework that was due today. Then we are adding in page 60, numbers 14 to 28 even as well. All right, I hope you guys have a great evening. I will see you on Friday. Bye.